What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTP Sports. And the series with the Phillies and the Tigers wraps up tonight. And the Phillies do end up winning that series by 2 of 3. They take 2 of 3 from the Detroit Tigers. And realistically, the offense, once again, still way too much to be left desired, in my personal opinion. I know you could say yesterday they went up against Tarek Skubal. And I really don't know if I go with the offense as the major blame for yesterday's game. And granted, they did win tonight, and Christopher Sanchez on the mound was absolutely dominant. He was flat out fantastic. And then you got Johan Duran in that ninth inning to get the save, which was also very electric. Two of your runs, one of those was a ground out by Max Kepler, and then the second run was a Schwarbaum to give you a 2-run insurance lead. But still, with the offense in today's game, you were going up against a 7,572,634-year-old Charlie Morton. Dude is way past his expiration date. I don't care how solid his numbers have been for the past couple of months. It's still 41-year-old Charlie Morton, and you should not have struggled against him as badly as you did tonight. And thankfully that you had Christopher Sanchez on the other side of the mound, just absolutely dominating, or else you would not have won this game. That is just the bottom line right there. Tarek Skubal, on the other hand, you did score 3 runs off of him. I don't know if this is like a bad take or anything like that. I don't know. I just kind of blame Zach Wheeler more yesterday. Is that just is that just odd the way that I'm taking this? Because you're just thinking to yourself going into yesterday's matchup where it's ace versus ace, two of the best pitchers in the league, two Cy Young caliber type of pitchers, and I don't know. I know Zach Wheeler's stat line isn't like anything terrible at the end of the day. It's not. 6 innings, technically 4 runs allowed, 3 of those earned, one of those was because of an error. And he admitted to himself that he stretched himself too far. He should not have gone in that 7th inning. But then that's also to Rob Thompson to not make him go into the 7th inning. And sometimes you just got to put your foot down when you're the manager, and Rob doesn't have that type of personality in him. I don't know. Just Wheeler yesterday, it's the home run balls. I know he was giving up solo shots and all that stuff, but it's just, dude, when you're going up against a guy in Tarek Skubal that is most likely going to win the Cy Young once again in the American League, and Skubal is out there just flat out dicing you up through the first 6 innings of the game, yeah, eventually the Phillies did score runs off of him. You know, Nick Castellanos had a 2-run shot and stuff like that, but it's still like the principle of the entire thing. It's, you have to go basically pitch per pitch with the other guy on the mound, and Wheeler just, just throwing pitches right down the middle of the plate. He allows 2 home runs in the 3rd inning, and then he allows more runs to score in the 7th. And, eventually, the Phillies did go back to the bullpen. They brought out Tanner Banks. He also allowed a run in that inning, and also Matt Strom just completely imploded in the 8th inning. But it's just, to the matter of the fact, Zach Wheeler, realistically, in my personal opinion, did not put you in a position to win the game. I just really don't think he did. Just throwing 2 pitches down the middle of the plate, ball gets crushed out of the ballpark, and, should not have gone out for that 7th inning. It's just another shaky Zach Wheeler start, and I know it's another start where Zach Wheeler has 10 strikeouts, but it's just like, it didn't look pretty, in my personal opinion. And now that is, 4 or 5 starts in a row for Zach Wheeler, where he has not been his best, and he has looked very shaky, and it really just makes me just put it out there that this is why Zach Wheeler can't win Cy Youngs. This is why Zach Wheeler has not won a Cy Young, because for as great, and this is not me saying Zach Wheeler's a stiff. I am not saying that whatsoever. It's just that when you have guys that are just bona fide Cy Young type of pitchers, and then you have guys that are Cy Young caliber. Zach Wheeler's more Cy Young caliber. He has so many long stretches where he's just so dominant, and he's pitching out there like a Skeens. He's pitching out there like a Skubal. He looks like Garrett Cole. He looks like a bunch of the so many dominant pitchers that are in Major League Baseball. But then he just has that 4, 5, maybe 6 game stretch where he just completely takes him out of possibly winning a Cy Young because he just looks shaky. And I don't know if this is just, you know, the age factor and all that stuff, him pitching so many innings the past so many seasons. But really, if you're just thinking about this, all of this started directly after he gets a complete game against the Cincinnati Reds so many weeks ago before the All-Star break. And then after that complete game against Cincinnati, he was very shaky against San Diego. He was shaky in his first start since the All-Star break. Seriously, if we just go back and look at Zach Wheeler's so many starts in, well, I think it's been his last 4 starts. Yeah, it's his last 4 starts now. So after that complete game on July 6th against the Cincinnati Reds, 9 innings, 1 earned run, 12 strikeouts, all that stuff. He went 6 innings against the San Diego Padres, allowed 4 earned runs, allowed 2 home runs, actually 6 strikeouts in that game. So he was very shaky, and you lost that game 5-4. The game against the Boston Red Sox, yeah, his stat line looked good, but his command was still over the place. But the stat line still finished at a quality start: 6 innings, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, another home run allowed, and 10 strikeouts. And then you go to the Yankees game where he really just did not look good in that second inning specifically. He went 5 2/3, allowed 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 6 or 8 strikeouts. He hit a bunch of batters in that game as well. So that was just another very shaky Zach Wheeler start. And the game against the Tigers, his command was not off. He just looked off, if that makes sense. He just didn't feel like dominant Zach Wheeler. 6 innings, 9 hits, 4 runs, 3 of those earned, 3 home runs allowed, and 10 strikeouts. It just did not feel like Zach Wheeler. Did not feel like Zach Wheeler whatsoever. Let's see. So if we go through yesterday's game, it just wasn't good. And I know people are going to, oh, you got 3 runs off Tarek Skubal and all that stuff, but Skubal was dominating you through the first 6 innings of the ball game, and then the offense finally did something once Zach Wheeler just allowed more runs in the game, which also makes it a little more infuriating. It's just like you want to start hitting the baseball once your ace gives up like 5 freaking runs in the game. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. So if we and I don't even think Zach Wheeler had a clean inning the entire game, if I'm not mistaken. So if we look at the top of the first inning, he allowed a leadoff single, but then he struck out the next 3 batters. In the top of the second inning, he allowed a 1-out single and eventually got out of that. Top 3, he allowed the 2 home runs to Keefe and Carpenter, so it was a 2-0 Tigers lead. Top of the fourth, he allowed a 1-out single, so once again, not a clean inning. And then the top of the fifth, he allowed a couple of base runners again, back-to-back singles. He eventually got out of that jam. And then you go to the sixth inning, he allowed a 1-out single. He didn't have a 1-2-3 inning the entire game. The entire game, he did not have a 1-2-3 inning. Then you go to the top of the seventh. Then there was a error by Otto Kemp. It was a hard hit ball, I think, and he just bobbled it, I guess. It's just, once again, Otto Kemp's not good at third base. That's just clearly obvious. And then, once again, ball left right over the middle of the plate, just a plain meatball, and Javi Baez sent it out of the ballpark. So that's where the unearned run comes from. And, the 2-run shot, it became 4-0. Then eventually, that takes Wheeler out of the game. Tanner Banks allows another home run, became 5-0. And then the offense decided to score some runs. Harper with a leadoff single, JT with a double that scored Harper. Nick Castellanos with a 2-run shot made it 5-3. And then top of the eighth, Strom out there, got the first 2 guys out. But then 8-pitch walk after going up in the count 0-2. Then walks Dingler in a 10-pitch at bat with a count at 2-2. A lot of foul balls, all that stuff. Ended up walking 2 guys in a row. Then Baez hit a triple that scored 2 runs, made it 7-3. Jordan Romano came out. He got out of the situation, but still, damage was done. Bottom of the eighth, Marsh with a leadoff single. Turner and Schwarber struck out. Then Harper hit a 2-run shot. Became a 7-5 game. JT then singled. They brought in Kyle Finnegan, and then Castellanos grounded out. Lazar had a 1-2-3 top of the ninth, and then the Phillies went down 1-2-3 in the bottom of the ninth. I just want to look at some of the innings compared from Skubal to the Phillies innings. Like I said, Zach Wheeler did not have a clean inning the entire time. Then you go to the bottom of the second, strike out the side. Bottom of the third, 1-2-3 inning. Bottom of the fourth, 1-2-3 inning. Bottom of the fifth, 1-2-3 inning. And, Tarek Skubal had 4 clean innings and then maybe 3 not clean innings. And then, the first inning, Harper with a 2-out single. Then I think it was the bottom of the 6th inning. It was Weston Wilson, out of all people, that had a double. And then the bottom of the 7th inning when they put the 3 runs on the board against Skubal. So, personally, I would say when your ace is on the mound, he did not go pitch per pitch with Tarek Skubal. In my personal opinion, he just did not. He just did not. Tarek Skubal looked more dominant out there on the mound. And no, that's not really giving a pass to the Phillies lineup, because if the Tigers are hitting Zach Wheeler, you need to be able to hit Tarek Skubal. I don't care how good Tarek Skubal is, you need to be able to hit him. I know some people like to give that a pass just because you're going up against a Cy Young caliber pitcher, but it doesn't take these other teams to stop from hitting Zach Wheeler and all that crap. So Zach Wheeler was not good enough, and once again, the offense needs to hit. And they're just not going to hit consistently. That's just the way this lineup is. So I don't know where else that's coming from. Trey Turner and Kyle Schwarber in yesterday's game, they both went 0 for 4. Harper did have a good game. He went 3 for 4, so it really wasn't on him. JT 2 for 4. Castellanos 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs. So you had basically all of your RBIs between Harper, JT, and Nick Castellanos. Your heart of the order right there. Ayers and Bader, he went 0 for 4. Otto Kemp went 0 for 4. Sosa went 0 for 3. Then Stott came into the ball game, went 0 for 1. Wilson went 1 for 2. Then Marsh came into the game. He went 1 for 1 in his lone at bats. Then you went 1 for 3 with runners in scoring position. So you lose yesterday's game, and now you go into tonight's game. And you win that one by a score of 2-0. Christopher Sanchez was just flat out dominant on the mound, getting a lot of quick outs. His pitch count was very low, but I do agree with not sending him out there for the 9th inning. I completely agree with that situation. He did get into 2 jams in this game, and he got out of those, and especially those were 2 jams where it started at first and second with nobody out. So that's very good stuff by Christopher Sanchez. But his full stat line, 8 innings, 5 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts on 84 pitches. It's good stuff from Sanchez. He was just flat out dominant. And like I said, I completely agree with not sending him out there for the 9th. You got Johan Duran for a reason, and he gets to save. 1-2-3 inning. Once again, he gets his first strikeout as a Philly on 12 pitches, and some really good stuff out there from your pitching. Offensively, you went up against a 50 billion-year-old Charlie Morton, and he completely diced you up. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts on 84 pitches. Just not good. Just not good. Schwarber, he went 2 for 3 in this game. Turner, he went 0 for 4. So Trey Turner's definitely in a big slump. Harper, he went 1 for 3. JT went 0 for 3. Castellanos 1 for 3. Marsh 1 for 3. Kepler 0 for 2 with an RBI ground out. Bader came into a pitch hit situation. He went 0 for 1. Sosa 0 for 3. Then Stott 0 for 3. He went 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position. So you definitely had your chances throughout the entire game. But Christopher Sanchez is flat out dominant. Harper, he had a double in the bottom of the 1st inning with 2 outs, and he did not come around the score. Bottom of the 2nd inning, Castellanos and Marsh with a leadoff double and a single, so you have guys on 2nd and 3rd, and nobody out. Kepler with the RBI groundout made it 1-0, and then Edmundo Sosa pops up in foul territory, becomes 2 outs, and then Bryson Stott lined out, which was also a very fantastic play by Riley Green. Riley Green was playing some spectacular defense. And he even had a fantastic catch in Saturday's ball game in foul territory, like running like 50,000 miles to make the catch on Schwarber in foul territory. And also, Green had 2 great catches in this game. This one here against Sosa, and he also had a diving catch later in the ball game as well. So he was robbing the Phillies a little bit too when they did put the ball in play. So it's only 1-0 after the 2nd. Christopher Sanchez continues to do his thing. Schwarber did get hit by a pitch. Harper grounded into a double play. Then you get into those situations. Top 4, 2 leadoff singles. Torkelson then strikes out, and then Riley Green grounds into a double play right back to Christopher Sanchez. Sanchez with a 1-2-3 in the top of the 5th. Phillies went 1-2-3 in the 4th and the 5th as well. 1-2-3 in the 6th for Sanchez. Bottom of the 6th, Schwarber with a double. Bryce got intentionally walked, and then JT grounded into a fielder's choice, which was almost a double play, and then Castellanos fouled out. Top 7, once again, 2 of the first batters reach on in the inning. Infield single, and Torkelson with a single as well. So Riley Green grounds into a force out, and it was in a weird spot where they couldn't turn a double play because I guess of the way they were shifted. So it's 1 out in the inning. They bring the infield in just because of the runners on 2nd and 3rd. Edmundo Sosa made a good play at third base, threw it home to get the runner out going home on the ground out there. Then Christopher Sanchez walks Dingler and then manages to get Perez to ground into a fielder's choice. It was a good play by Trey Turner at shortstop. And Christopher Sanchez escapes the bases loaded 2 out of jam. So he did really good there. But then Phillies 1, 2, 3 in the bottom of the 7th. And then top 8, 1, 2, 3 for the Tigers. Bottom 8, Schwarber with the insurance absolutely crushes a solo shot to the deepest part of the ballpark, became 2-0. And then Duran gets the 1, 2, 3, 9th. Carpenter was really just the I would say the most difficult at bat in the probably the Riley Green, because he did battle in the at bat, but he managed to strike him out on a 102 mile an hour cheese. Look at all the fastball totals in this freaking at bat: 101, 102, 102, 102, 103, 102. Holy fucking shit! So just basically every fastball that he throws is over 100 miles an hour. That is absolutely insane. And then once you get to see the entrance again, that was also crazy. So just good stuff there by Duran as well. You got a closer, and that's basically what he is. Got a pure bona fide closer. And that's what he was. Always just great stuff. But still, it showcases your offense isn't good enough this series. This series has shown plenty of that. And yeah, it's the same old with this offense. They'll have their very bad stretches. They'll have a few games where they look very good and it makes people suck back in. But it's just what this offense is at this point. Now you got the Baltimore Orioles coming into town for the next 3 games. Tomorrow, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Luzardo, Walker, and Ranger Suarez are going to be on the mound for this series. Jesus Luzardo, he's going to go up against Cade Pavich. He's 2-5 with a 5.15 ERA. It says he's on the 15-day IL. Okay, it says he is set to return back. Wait a minute. Yeah, it does say right here on ESPN he is set to return against the Phillies. So his last game was on June 15th, it looks like. So not sure if he's going to be limited or anything like that. He's a lefty. The Phillies will put out the left-handed lineup, so you most likely will see Harrison Bader tomorrow as well. Taijuan Walker, he'll be going up against Dean Kremer. He's 8-7 with a 4.27 ERA. Yeah, basically Baltimore's starting rotation has not been good. Then you got 12:35 on Wednesday afternoon. Ranger Suarez going up against Trevor Rogers. Trevor Rogers, though, has definitely been having a bounce-back type of season. He's 4-2 with a sub-1.5 ERA. He's actually been very good for Baltimore this year. How many games has he pitched? No, he's actually been pretty good. Let's see. So I guess he started in AAA or something like that, and ever since getting called up on May 24th, he pitched on May 24th, then he didn't pitch again until June 18th. And then he's been basically a mainstay in the rotation since, and he's been actually very good for Baltimore. He hasn't allowed more than 3 earned runs in a game this season in Major League Baseball. So he's been very good for them. But I don't know what that means. So we'll see. And then once again, you have an off day on Thursday. Then you go on the road for a little bit for 3 straight series. Texas, Cincinnati, and the Washington Nationals. So yeah, that's the schedule there for you guys. Then basically you get the rest of August and all that stuff. Really, it really just feels like, especially when you bring up the NL East division, Phillies win, Mets lose. Phillies lose, Mets win. These teams cannot decide who wants to be in first place. It really just is that case. And then you got the leeriness of the Miami Marlins. They're slowly creeping on back in. They just swept the New York Yankees, completely embarrassed the New York Yankees. The Marlins, they're doing something. They're definitely doing something. They won 5 in a row. They're 8-2 in their last 10. And they've been actually playing very good baseball for a very long stretch at this point. They're at 500 right now. And they're only 7.5 games back, and they're a month and a half left in the season. Definitely something to look out for. Just putting that out there. Definitely something to watch out for. So, we'll see. We'll see. But, yeah. The Marlins have been actually playing very good baseball for a little bit. It's weird. It's weird. I don't know. Crazier things have happened, but for some reason they've been on like a massive hot streak. They've been on a massive hot stretch. They've been playing above 500 baseball for a very long time, I think since June. So it's just something to monitor because you never know the craziness with the NL East. I'm just putting that out there. especially with the way that the Mets and the Phillies just can't decide on who wants to run away with the NL East and just can't decide on who wants to be consistent and all that stuff. I'm just saying that weirder things have happened, boys. I'm just pointing that out there. I'm not saying that it's going to happen. I'm just saying weirder things have happened. Because I watched some of those games. I'm not even sure if that's how good the Marlins have been or if that's how bad the Yankees are, because holy fucking shit. All their bullpen guys that they brought in that one game against the Marlins where they came all the way back, and I think the Yankees were winning by, I think it was at least 8-1 or something like that. The Marlins came all the way back and eventually won that game in extra innings. All the bullpen options that the Yankees traded for, they all fucking imploded. They all fucking imploded. So I don't know if that's just the Yankees being the Yankees. And also you see a lot of the very much stupidity from the Yankees as well. They are a very dumb baseball team. Honest to God, they're probably dumber than the Phillies. They're probably stupider than the Phillies. Did you see Jazz Chisholm getting doubled up on a pop-up? Like, what the fuck was he doing? That is crazy. And then you also see with the freaking the Braves and the Reds, you know, the game in the NASCAR stadium that got rained out yesterday, which was so fucking stupid that they played one inning, then the game got suspended because it was raining basically all day, and then so many people were complaining about it because the views were terrible. It just, that is definitely a project that Major League Baseball is not going to go back to. They definitely, like, concept-wise, it seemed cool. In hindsight, it's not the best. In an attempt, was not good. Just weird stuff. Just very weird stuff there, boys. I don't know. And realistically, I really wasn't paying much attention to the game. Yeah, I was paying attention to the games, don't get me wrong. I did watch most of the game yesterday, basically before. I think I turned the game off when Wheeler allowed the 2-run shot to Baez, and I was like, yeah, this game's probably over. So I turned that off and switched over to SummerSlam. Night 1 of SummerSlam. I don't know. It kind of feels like WrestleMania all over again. Night 1 was very underwhelming, then the main event was very good, especially, you know, even though it was very predictable as shit with the Seth Rollins cash-in, but that was still very fun, you know, how he basically teased, you know, he basically just cock-teased everybody with, like, okay, I'm actually injured, I'm just going to go back there. Nope, then he just throws the crutches away as he turns his back, and then he goes and cashes it on CM Punk, so, like I said, it was very predictable because everybody really knew that Seth was a work, and they were just trying so much to, like, say it wasn't a work and that he was actually injured. But everybody saw through that, but it still ended up being a very entertaining finish. And then for night 2 of SummerSlam, I was watching the Phillies on my phone while I had SummerSlam on the television. And night 2 was definitely much better. Definitely had, I would say, the better matches of the two nights. There definitely were some stinkers in tonight's night 2, like the cage match between Fatu and Solo Sikoa. Definitely was very underwhelming. That match was just bad. But I would say majority, like the opening match, the women's triple threat match for the world title, that was very good. The SmackDown Tag Team Championship, the tables, ladders, and chairs match, that was very entertaining. Becky versus Lyra, that was entertaining. AJ Styles versus Dom, that was entertaining to an extent. What other matches were there? What other matches was it? I fucking forget. I know it was the cage match as well. Then also you have the main event as well. Was there another match in there? For some reason I'm forgetting. Some reason I'm blanking out on it. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm blanking out on it. I'm probably not. Yeah, it was women's world title, tables, ladders, and chairs with the tag teams. Live versus Becky, cage match. No, that was all the matches. And then definitely John Cena versus Cody Rhodes 2.0 at SummerSlam Street Fight. Definitely way better than fucking WrestleMania, 100%. That match was just good. That match was just a good match, even though it definitely was long. I was not expecting Cody to get the belt. I think a lot of us were expecting Cody to turn heel or something like that, or especially John Cena completely fool us with the heel turn or with the babyface turn. But no, that was definitely was not expected with the ending with Cody winning clean and walking out as a babyface, and then of course the very unexpected thing that nobody called with this, Brock Lesnar returning. That definitely was like my jaw dropped. I was like, what? They actually brought Brock back, especially with all the fucking lawsuit stuff that's still going on. Unless he got cleared or something like that, I have no fucking clue. Because there was so much talk about him being banned from WWE because of the whole Janelle Grant lawsuit with Vince McMahon. So either he got cleared, or they're taking a fucking major risk right here with Brock Lesnar. I have no idea. But I definitely can see why they turned John Cena babyface now. I could definitely see why they turned John Cena babyface. It's to go against Brock. That's basically it. And I'm not sure how that's going to pay off. It definitely feels like it's out of the blue. I understand it's John Cena's Cinderella swan song at this point, but it definitely needs something where there's a payoff, in my personal opinion. I think it just needs to have some type of payoff. So I don't know how that's going to go. Is that just going to be their build up to Clash of Paris or something like that? I have no clue. The one thing I will really criticize about with SummerSlam, and this also goes back to WrestleMania, the crowds are fucking dead. The crowds in America are fucking dead. Vegas was dead. New York was dead. And I'm not sure if that has to do with the very expensive ticket prices, where it's probably more casual fans going to these things and more, rich people going to these things because they can't afford the tickets instead of like the diehard WWE fans and all that stuff. Now, get me wrong, there were pops in the crowd, no doubt, but it just kind of felt like either they're just so into drowning out the crowd noise so you can get more of the noise from the ring, or just the crowds were just so dead. I don't know. I don't know. It kind of takes you out of the feeling, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not saying SummerSlam. I think ended up being like night 2 was entertaining, no doubt. Night 1, the finish was entertaining, but it's definitely a work in progress, I guess you could say, because they're definitely not leaving the 2-night SummerSlam project anymore. That's something they're most likely going to stick with because obviously it's money. So, but it's they need to get better with the build-ups. In my personal opinion, I just think they do. They got to get better with build-ups and all that crap. But we'll see what their stories are now going in the Clash of Paris, because that's at the end of the month. So definitely interesting stuff. I know it's Clash of Paris. I'm not. I think they have something in Australia or something like that soon too. And I know War Games Survivor Series is in November in San Diego, in Petco Park actually. So I don't know where that's gonna go. So it definitely will be intriguing. It is a major risk bringing Brock back. As like entertaining as the pop was, and like the pure just like unexpectation of bringing Brock back, I was like, what? But it's just like, you are taking a major risk here because of the whole lawsuit. Now, granted, if he's cleared or not, I have no idea. So that's definitely something that you're gonna have to read in reports on Twitter and all that stuff. Maybe he is cleared. Maybe he was proven innocent and all that stuff, and it's fine and all that crap. But I'm not entirely sure, because there's definitely gonna be a lot of people that love Brock coming back. There's definitely gonna be a lot of people that hate Brock coming back. So we'll see. Didn't mean to go on a whole thing about SummerSlam, but like I said, that's where my mind was more this weekend, more than Phillies. And you really can't blame me. You really can't blame me. I didn't miss much, even though I did watch the games. I had it on my phone, but still, can't really blame me much, really, can you? So, let's see. We do have a call from yesterday from Sean, so we'll get to that, and we also do have a text message from Steven. 2 of them, actually, or 3 of them, actually. So, one text message says, all capitals, Brock Lesnar. So, I'm assuming Steven was very excited that Brock came back. Sanchez is a top pitcher in baseball. Another series win against a good team. Recap, Game 1 was great. The first few innings were insanely frustrating, but the offense and Duran were great towards the end. Game 2, Wheeler was fine, not his sharpest, but you gave you a quality start. Offense needs to heat up a little quicker, but in my terms of why they lost, that one's on Strom. Can't get 2 outs and then implode like that. Understandable. Game 3, not hitting Charlie Morton is disgraceful. Dope Schwarbomb, though. Sanchez was amazing. He is so fun to watch. It gives you a big win against a good lineup. Duran, once again, does his job as well. Nice to see them beating a very good team. 3 of the last 4 series are wins against good teams, but the offense is very frustrating, obviously. They did need Quan. Yep. Let's get the Sean's call from yesterday. Then I'll get some of you guys here in the chat. So let me get this up for you guys, and here we go.
This game, to me, falls under the Bill,
like I said, this is from yesterday,
Belichick mantra of do your job. and the pitchers today did not do their job. I mean, the pitchers yesterday, not named Durham, did not really do their job, although I'm not going to be too hard on Ranger. But the Phillies have to be concerned about Zach Wheeler. I mean, no more Cy Young talk because it's not happening for Zachary. I mean, was okay, but not great, and too many balls going over the wall. Tanner Banks not good, and Matt Strahm with the most pivotal collapse gets the first two guys out after you cut the deficit down to 2 runs and then implodes. You know, we knew the offense would struggle. I mean, Harrison Bader is already acclimating himself well to this offense. What is he now, about 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts? And yet Justin Crawford flounders in the minors, make it make sense. But hopefully you win tomorrow. I mean, they got to feel fortunate that A.J. Hinch did them a favor by lifting Flaherty in Game 1, or they probably would have lost that one too.
Well, I guess a spoiler, they did win this game, Sean. But it still didn't. It felt good watching Sanchez pitch. It didn't feel good with the offense once again against Charlie Morton. That's just that is just embarrassing how they really just 50-million-year-old Charlie Morton, man. It just make it make sense. Make it make sense. This team is, boys. What this team is. What have the Orioles been doing lately? The Orioles been doing their record 51-61. They've been winning a lot more. They just lost a series to the Cubs after winning 3-4 against the Blue Jays, which was actually pretty shocking. They won a series against the Rockies. That's not shocking. Okay, so they've been losing more than they've been winning. So that's what the Orioles are this year. They are in last place in the AL East. So, so who knows? Then you also have Texas, like I said. Then you go on that road trip, obviously, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, Mets obviously losing today. With the win as well for you, put you back in first place by a half game. I'm just saying, watch out for the Marlins. Watch out for the Marlins. Weirder things have happened. Weirder things have happened. Chat time, okay. Austin, how you doing? I know that the offense left a lot to be desired in that game, but holy damn, did the pitching feel great, even with the bullshit ball. Oh yeah, I completely forgot about the umpire, and the umpire definitely was brutal in today's game. A lot of missed calls for Sanchez. A lot. CRA was 6. How can this offense do anything for 3 or 4 series? It's just not happening. Can't blame me there for Julian. Sanchez 22-1 odds. Cy Young, sorry, if he keeps this up, he wins. You cannot give it to Skeens on that team like that. I don't know, Julian. I think it's just like it's the sexy choice. You know what I mean? It's a sexy choice, and I feel like they would give it to him. I just have a feeling they would. Obviously, Wheeler's not going to win it at this rate. He's just no. Star Wars. Duran's 103.3 mile an hour is the fastest pitch ever recorded at Citizens Bank Park. Really? Interesting. I never knew that. Aroldis Chapman pitched here a few times, even when in his early days with the Reds. I'm surprised he never touched that. Interesting. Learn something new every day. Interesting stat. Yeah, Wheeler has not been sharp since his complete game. Yeah, I really do feel like that's a factor. I just have that feeling. Yep, Trey Turner has been brutal lately. Zach Wheeler is the ultimate runner-up, someone who will never have the best season in the league, but who can be counted on to be a top 5 pitcher league-wide. If there's an award for a workhorse, yeah, I'm definitely not like trying to throw shade at Zach Wheeler whatsoever. I just like come to realization, okay, this is probably why Zach Wheeler can't win a Cy Young. Just because, for as dominant as Zach Wheeler is, and for much as a stud that he is on the mound, he has these very sluggish, even though they're not really like full on sluggish. It's not like he's allowing 7 runs a game. It's just like when he's not his sharpest, he's giving up 3-4 runs. And eventually, if you have a couple of games like that, that's going to add up, and that's going to make your numbers look worse, and it's going to most likely take you out of a Cy Young race compared to like other pitchers who are just constantly going out there dominating. So, And Zach Wheeler has more dominant stretches than he has this. It's just when you do have these starts mixed in a few times, like 3, 4, 5 times in your season, it probably ruins your season of winning a Cy Young. That probably just is the case. I was stunned by the third stat. What? What do you mean by that, Julian? I'm not sure if you misspoke there. Oh, you were stunned by this stat. The Phillies have the second most series wins in the league. Really? Really? Honestly, I'm not surprised, but I am surprised at the same time. Because, like, granted, as much as we don't like the way this Phillies team is constructed and we are so frustrated with the offense on a consistent basis, they're still a good team. They're still a good team in Major League Baseball. It's just that we see the flaws more than a lot of the national pundits do. And because we watch this team on a daily basis, we know why we don't think this team can win a World Series. The reason why you'll win a World Series is because how dominant I know your pitching has been leaking oil lately, so I really can't go full front on relying on dominant pitching because right now it's leaking oil. But still, in theory, if your pitching still dominates, that's what they're holding their back on. You dominate with your pitching, you keep the games low, you score some runs, then you go to the back end of the bullpen with Duran. That's basically what it feels like at this point. Did anyone feel like the ESPN coverage with the overlays was a bit much? I mean, they had a million stats on screen at any given time. It's nerding it. I think with were you watching the ESPN2 broadcast? Because there's two different ESPN broadcasts. One on normal ESPN where it's just the regular broadcast of the game, and the one on ESPN2 is a bunch of like StatCast stuff. So you'll be seeing a lot of stat stuff. You'll see a lot of analytical stuff and all that stuff. So you'll that might have been the stat broadcast that you were watching, Austin. Might not been, but I feel like that could have been the broadcast that we were watching. Schwarber has to bat behind Harper and JT. Fourth is nuts. Let's see. Yeah, Stott getting robbed a lot. I could see the Marlins making the third wild card. Yep. Marlin. Where was I? Marlins are a minus 44 run differential. Usually teams like that never make the playoffs. Like I said, I've seen weirder things, Julian. I've seen weirder things. Do you have any insights into the Little League World Series? I really don't know anything about it, but I saw some coverages earlier at Tully's. Now I don't know anything about going into the Little League World Series. That's just something that I put on in the background. Realistically, I don't really follow it to a T. Kepler, yep. Kepler hitting 143 with runners in scoring position. Yep, still in the lineup every day for the most part. Ending the night 2 the SummerSlam was garbage. Yeah, I have been seeing that opinion on Twitter. I have been seeing that opinion. I'm not gonna say it was garbage, but I could definitely see why Cena turned babyface now because it was to face Brock. It wasn't for anything else. It was to face Brock. Great win for the Phillies tonight. Sanchez was on the cruise control for most of it, got it into some trouble, but found a way to get out of it. Yeah, that was basically his night. But holy crowd, Duran throwing a 103 in the top of the zone is unhittable and pure filth. Oh yeah. If only Jose didn't take Ozempic, then we would have had another bridge to Lidge connection with him and Duran. Yeah, that's what sucks about Alvarado letting his teammates down. Definitely. Wheeler is a major concern because he's just pitching like a. Oh yeah, the pitch count for Wheeler is definitely the annoying thing. Nola's doing his rehab assignments, Julian. I think he actually just did his rehab assignment the other day in Lehigh, where he went 3 innings, didn't allow a run, and struck out a few. So he looked solid in his first rehab start. So they're probably just slowly building him back up at this point, very slowly. Am I worried about Duran's pitches or how fast he's pitching his case for a Tommy John surgery eventually? Well, he's been in the league for a long time at this point and has avoided it. So, well, he probably is going to be a candidate for Tommy John at some point. But maybe since he's a bullpen arm, he can get away with it for the time being since he doesn't pitch that often. So, maybe. I mean, right now it's obviously going to be the negative thought in the back of your mind, but obviously I wouldn't be you know what I mean? Oh, so you were watching ESPN2. Yeah. ESPN2 does like the StatCast broadcast. So it's not like the normal broadcast. They just do a bunch of the stat stuff with like another broadcast crew that's more like analytically driven. Summerlin in Vegas wins tomorrow. Makes it only I know what. Say that again, Julian, because I'm not sure what you're saying there. I did see the Robertson stat from his last start, from his last outing. It was not good. Yep, you're relying on a 40-plus-year-old David Robertson. Not shocked. They're saying his fastball's up to 94, but a lot of people are saying his fastball looks very flat. So doesn't matter what velocity that you're throwing at. If your fastball is fucking flat, it's gonna get rocked. He is definitely 200 years old. What's going on with the Wells Fargo Center? I heard the name is changing or something. Not up to speed here. Yeah, they already have the name for. So Wells Fargo Center, the rights for the name expires in September, and they already have the new arena name when the rights do expire. It's gonna be called the Xfinity Mobile Arena. So that's what it's gonna be called. And then that name will be up there until eventually they build the new arena and all that stuff. Oh, you're talking about the Little League World Series. Oh, so if Summerlin and Vegas wins tomorrow, they make it to the Little League World Series? Interesting. Interesting. Well, I guess you could say that you have something to root for in the Little League World Series. I remember when one of the teams in Philadelphia made it and all that crap. It was like a while ago. That was like back in high school or something like that. But that was interesting. You know what I mean? Thanks for the recap. I appreciate it. Name of the process center? No, they're not doing that. I know they're giving the Sixers more leeway with the scheduling stuff with the arena. They're not naming it the process center. Its center would probably be having a heart attack in his grave. Is there anything else on the Twitterverse? Most of the stuff I'm seeing on Twitter right now is from SummerSlam. Also Mick Abel, he had his debut for the Twins AAA affiliate. He went 5 innings, 1 hit, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. So he's still dominating AAA. So he's basically mastered AAA at this point, I would say. It's really when's he going to figure it out consistently in Major League Baseball. And most likely with the Twins, he'll probably get that opportunity to figure it out and not have max pressure on him, most likely. I think some of these Little League kids can play better than Kepler. Probably. Probably. Probably, man. Probably. Someone messaged me. Ugh. Yes, WrestleMania is in Vegas again next year. It was supposed to be in New Orleans, but then they probably because of all the money they made in Vegas this year, they probably decided to go back to it. Which, in retrospect, I don't blame them. But that's whole of a TKO thing more than it is WWE, I guess. TKO is money first, fan fifth on their list, I guess. Definitely, it's like WWE hasn't been brutal, I would say lately. It's definitely been more on the like. There's been good moments. I do like Seth's faction. I've definitely liked what Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed have done. Hopefully, Braun Breaker's not really seriously hurt because that definitely was very scary to see after the match when someone on Twitter posted him limping backstage. He did come out after Seth to cash in, and he did have a wrap on his knee, so maybe it's not as bad as it looked. Him walking off. Like the Lyra Becky feud and Bailey feud, that's been very good story told. What else? Like obviously the women's world title. Like every time you see like Rhea, Io in a match and all that stuff, it's always gonna be fantastic. And now you add Naomi to that mix. It was a good fight. What else? Obviously, a Clash in Paris, they're going to have Stephanie Vaquer fight against Naomi for the world title, so that's probably going to be a banger because Stephanie Vaquer is very over and she's also very good in the ring. Um, Interested to see what they do with Judgment Day now. Now that um yeah Raquel and Roxanne lost the tag team titles, even though Dominic didn't retain, because I think they're probably going to do something with, because Dominic's also going over the AAA, so he might win the AAA title as well, along with holding the Intercontinental title. So they're probably doing something right there with Dominic. The one thing I really don't like with the entirety of this SummerSlam is the not including LA Knight. I think that was a waste of potential, and I don't know if they're gonna do like LA Knight has the first title shot against Seth or something like that at Clash at Paris, or the one thing I really don't want to see happen with LA Knight is him the possibility of joining Seth's faction. That what I would not like. I would not like that at all. I really don't like. I also don't like them basically burying Karrion Kross because the stipulations for those fights were stupid. I don't know. I feel like you could have replaced Sammy and Karrion's fight with Damian Priest and Aleister Black's fight, because I feel like that was built more better than the Sammy Karrion feud, and it just felt like it was a burial of Karrion, and he's probably going to leave the company. He's probably not going to renew his contract or whatever it is. Most likely, he probably already didn't renew his contract, and that was the result was the burial. So I don't know if they're going to do something on Raw with Karrion, because the stupid stipulation was to admit that he was wrong about Sammy or something like that. That dumb, really dumb stipulation. I don't know if LA Knight's going to come back tomorrow, because I'm sure you're going to be seeing Seth tomorrow with the world title on Raw. So I don't know if LA Knight comes back to do something, or like I said, I really hope LA Knight's not going to be the fourth man of that faction, because there is rumors about there being a fourth guy, and I really hope it's not LA Knight. I really hope it's not LA Knight. I would assume Punk takes some time off, because the match that he had with Gunther was very good. I'm assuming Gunther's taking some time off because there is a rumor that his nose was actually injured before the fight. So he's probably going to go off and have surgery and probably have some time off for a little bit. I'm not sure what they're going to do with Gunther after all that stuff. Maybe he stays away from the world title scene for a little bit and he goes to do something else. Maybe he goes after the Intercontinental title again. I'm not entirely sure. Even though I know there's a rumor about him being seen as final opponent. And I know a lot of people now are bringing up with Brock being back that it's a dream match with Brock and Gunther. So is that going to be something that they build up as well? I'm not entirely sure. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Punk, obviously, he's probably gonna have some time off after this, because he's been doing so much for the past few months, basically since WrestleMania, and for a long time at this rate. Like being an Elimination Chamber, WrestleMania, and all that stuff. He's been doing a lot of work for a very long time, and Seth is most likely going to hold on to the title until WrestleMania 42. So I'm not sure how they're going to build that up. I'm not sure how Roman ties into all this with all this stuff, because of him and Jay feuding with Braun and Bronson. So I'm not sure how Seth and Roman are going to work together. I'm not sure if this is eventually just going to lead to a build with Seth versus Punk at WrestleMania, Seth versus Roman at WrestleMania, or anything like that. I'm not entirely sure where that goes. I'm not sure. I really want to see how they do this with Cody, because a lot of people, I feel like they're getting tired of Cody's babyface era. I think people are just getting a little bit tired of the stale of the act, and they wanted to see him turn heel just to get a new, fresh, clean coat of paint. But I'm not entirely sure. How long has this been a wrestling pod? I mean, I stopped talking about the games. I wanted to talk about SummerSlam, and Broach just told me he's recording in the morning, so I had some leeway here. I mean, some slack. I will get to your talk. I know I saw you left a call here, Zach, so I might as well bring that up before we just shoot the shit more on wrestling. Let's actually do that. Let's get to Zach.
Series win, man. I gotta love it. This team didn't hit tremendously well tonight, and Charlie Morton was looking like prime Charlie Morton out there. Oh, hold on, we got dickheads driving past. Fucking golf cart. That's what you get when you're at the damn beach. Carolina folk. But anyhow.
We're still driving to the beach.
Yeah, Charlie Morton was looking like a damn Cy Young. Threw his second complete start in a row. The last one I was at in Baltimore. And yeah, Christopher Sanchez was just dazzling tonight, man. Like, that changeup is just filthy, unbelievable. He's leading the league in strikeouts on changeups. And nice to not have to worry about putting him out there for the ninth when you got a guy who shut down his Duran. Or Duran or Duran. I'm going to butcher it every time. But please tell me which one it is. This guy is fucking disgusting. He's out here throwing 103, just pumping it in the outer corner to the lefties. I mean, he's elite. What can you say? He's probably the best closer in baseball. And you got to love Kyle Schwarber giving you some insurance there, man. Makes you feel a little more comfortable, even though I'm pretty sure a one-run lead is just enough for our boy Johan Duran. So, yeah. Got Baltimore next. I'm here with my family. Most of them Baltimore Orioles fans, so be giving it to them if we kick their ass, and I hopefully have to say when we kick their ass because they just traded all their players away. So if we lose but a game to the Orioles, I'm going to be pissed. But should sweep them, should kick their ass. So go Phils, man. Peace.
Hopefully they do some good stuff against the Orioles, but we'll wait and see with this team because I have no idea. Pitching matchups, obviously, Luzardo, Walker, and Ranger. So we'll see where that goes. I just don't trust this offense. I just don't. Pitchers have to be perfect. Offense probably isn't going to hit as much, but I just don't trust them. Maybe they win the series, probably. I don't know. Right now, this team cannot finish off sweeps, even if they do win 2 of 3. They can't finish off sweeps right now. They haven't done it in a while. Oh, you are at the beach right now, so okay. Cars were driving by. Okay. I can't stand Cody. He's being shoved down our throats. Well, he is the face of the company right now, so it does make sense why they do that. But I do think the babyface Cody is probably running its course, even though at this point they're probably not turning him heel at this rate. I would like to see a little bit of a change in his character, and it's not necessarily like going full on heel. It's a lot of people have been bringing up like do the what's the Homelander, like a Homelander Cody, to where like he's not a full on heel, like he's a babyface, but he's doing heel things, and he's just like letting power go to his head or something like that. I think that would be an interesting push for Cody's character, and maybe like I said, a fresh coat of paint for his character. But right now, it just looks like they're sticking with babyface Cody. I just don't know who he goes up against next. Like, who's up in the title scene now? I know they like hinted at like before SummerSlam and all that stuff with like Drew McIntyre and like Randy Orton and all that stuff. I'm really not sure who goes after Cody next. I really could not tell you. Now, what would have been interesting is if they really turned a 180 on everybody, or like if they really just threw everybody in for a loop, and Seth didn't cash in last night, he cashed in tonight against John and Cody. That would have been interesting. That would have been like completely unexpected. And that would, maybe would have done something different. Maybe if you really want to show out the powerfulness of Seth's faction, you have Seth going after Undisputed Championship. He cashed in, he gets the Undisputed Championship. And maybe Braun goes after, because Braun basically, like during that stretch where Seth wasn't there for the quote-unquote injury, he definitely shot himself up the card with especially the way that he performed in that gauntlet match to fight Gunther. I think he definitely put himself up in the card. So, like, say if Seth won the Undisputed Championship or cashed in on it and got it, then maybe you can send Braun to go after the World Heavyweight Championship. And then those two guys win it. You have 2 of the top belts in the company in that one faction. That would definitely showcase the true power of that faction. Now, granted, there's Bronson Reed and all that stuff. Maybe the 4th guy that you bring in, they become like a tag team partner with Bronson, and they go after the tag team titles. And then you have the Undisputed Then you had the World Heavyweight. Then you had the tag team titles as well in the faction. It's just something that I think about. You know, Raw will definitely be interesting tomorrow, so we'll see where that goes. I'm sure they're most likely not going to show Cody tomorrow. I would assume they show Cody on SmackDown, unless Cody does appear. But I would assume it'd be more Seth than anything like that. It'll probably be Seth. You'll probably see something with Karrion Kross and Sami Zayn. Maybe LA Knight does appear. Naomi probably appears as well. You'll probably see something from Rhea, or you'll see Stephanie Vaquer. So it'll probably be the first confrontation between them leading up to Clash in Paris. But it's interesting. There's some interesting stuff, but there's also like stuff that really questions me because the match with Solo and Jacob Fatu was just not good. It was not good whatsoever. That match felt rushed. It just felt like the ending, there was no payoff. So I really don't know what they're doing with that. If that's just a feud that's just going to constantly keep on going and it's eventually going to get... It kind of feels stale already that we've been seeing so much with this Fatu and Solo Sikoa stuff. Like, I feel like Jacob Fatu should have been already shot with the card at this point because he is very good and he's clearly over with the crowd. But you know, Triple H, he doesn't like... In WWE, their standard, they don't like pushing people up when they organically get over. I don't know why. It's just the way they do things. But basically almost going an hour here. I think it's time to end this and send you people off for the rest of the night. Like I said, Brodes is not doing his pod until tomorrow morning, so you won't see that until then. And we'll see where everything else goes from there. So, appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. Don't forget to leave a like. Don't forget to drop a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Great deal, do not pass it up. And, yeah. Phillies win the series. Turned into more of a SummerSlam pod, but the Phillies did win the series. We'll see what they do. Appreciate you guys. See you next time.